I think I'm gonna call this Hot Tub Talks. I feel like that's fun, right? Hot Tub Talks. Oh my god, I don't know if you can see the snow on camera, but it's snowing in May. So I am in the Poconos right now. It is quarantine, and my dad and I thought it would be a good getaway to go up north and go hang out in one of our favorite places to distract ourselves a little bit. A little bit ago, I had asked on my Instagram if people wanted to learn about my college application process. So here I am, bringing that video to you. I just thought it would be really fun. My application process was definitely a little different since I am a film student. So I thought I would just bring you the story of an average student's film school application process. So I have little notes with me. First thing I did was figure out my major. And I feel like this is probably very similar to a lot of people. Even though there are quite a few people who go undecided. And this was about like freshman, sophomore year when I was trying to decide what my major was going to be for college. And this is definitely way too early. But I like to get ahead of the game, and I like to know my future plans. So I took Latin and Spanish my freshman year, and I was planning on taking 2 languages all throughout high school. So I was taking those classes, and I found that high school was definitely a lot harder than middle school. And I was not doing as well in those classes as I was in middle school. But I really, really liked my freshman year Latin teacher, Mr. Rich. He's the best. And he was offering a video production minor for sophomore year, and I loved him so much. I was like, okay, I have to take this class. I had been interested in filmmaking before. I had been one of those movie star girls, and whenever there's an opportunity to make a movie for one of my classes as like a project, I always would. And I had been interested in teaching. I was thinking about like high school education and teaching history possibly, because I thought I was gonna be a language girl in college. I thought I was gonna be that girl, and I was not. While all of that was going on, I was pretty down because I had no clue what I wanted to do, and I felt like my friends sort of had an idea. People get started really early at my school in the college application process, but then my video production class started to get up and running, and I had the opportunity to direct a short rockumentary on my friend Durin, and I really loved it. It was amazing. It really was. I had access to equipment that I've never had access to before, editing software and just camera equipment and sound equipment, and I fell in love. I really did. I knew I really liked it for a while, and my parents had sort of joked about me getting into the industry, but I never thought about it seriously because it's hard. It's really hard. Not only did I fall in love with film, I am pretty good at it. To toot my own horn, I was not good at many other things, so finding a subject that I sort of excelled in really helped my confidence grow a lot. That's really how I decided what I wanted to major in. So next in my process, it was finding colleges that had good programs for film. There's definitely a difference in schools that have lower programs than higher programs, which is not to say that any programs are bad. There are definitely tons of great programs from schools that are not ranked top in the world, but there's a reason why there are notable alumni from these top film schools. I literally just Googled top film schools in the country, and what popped up was, this is not in any particular order, USC, NYU, UCLA, Syracuse, LMU, Pratt Institute, RISD, Ithaca, Penn State, Emerson College, and SCAD. Then I figured out which schools would fit my stats. I'm going to tell you my stats honestly, because I feel like it gives you a better understanding of my process, and I'm not ashamed. I had a 3.3 GPA through freshman through junior year. I had a 27 ACT, which is about like a 1250 SAT. I immediately had the cost of USC, UCLA, RISD, and Syracuse. They wouldn't even look at your application if you didn't have about a 3.6, 3.7 GPA, at least for their film programs. I started visiting schools the summer before junior year till the summer before senior year. That's really where I figured out which schools I wanted to apply to after I had ruled out the schools that I didn't. So then I decided when and where I was going to apply. I ended up picking 4 schools that I liked the most, which were Emerson College is my number 1, Ithaca College was my number 2, Penn State University Park was my number 3, and Savannah College of Art and Design, aka SCAD, was my number 4. So I picked those 4 schools as my early action schools, and I decided that if I got into any of them, I did not need to apply to any regular decision schools because I liked those schools so much that there was no need for me to apply to any other schools. But I did have regular decision schools. I didn't end up applying to any of them, but I will tell you where they were. My regular decision schools were NYU, LMU, and Pratt Institute. Then comes for the actual applying process. So I had written my Common App essay, like my big essay, mid to late junior year, during the school year. My school is pretty cool where they integrate in our English curriculum creative writing, and they have everybody write their Common App essays, or at least one version of it, as a grade for our class. I really liked that process. It made it really nice that I didn't have to write my essay over the summer. But I will come back to that later because I did have to write a new essay. Another nice thing about my school is that we have a college counseling class for the second semester of your junior year and the first semester of your senior year. So you're meeting about like once a week with your college counselors to work on your application and ask about any questions that you may have. So about halfway through my junior year, I started working on my Common App, which was, we just did the basic stuff. So I did my extracurricular activities, my like parents, where you're from, like demographic stuff. I had finished testing, so I was able to put my testing in. So I got a good chunk of my application done before my senior year started. Then senior year starts. Everything sort of kicks into high gear, and I decided that I wanted to get everything done as soon as possible. I didn't want to stress out about it. When senior year starts, I started going over everything with my college counselor, every single section of my application. I guess I'll tell you a few notable things that I feel like stood out in my application. This is what I think stood out. I am not an admissions officer, so I could not tell you if this is what helped me get into schools, but this is what I think did. I took a 2-week intensive pre-college program at UCLA Film School the summer before senior year, which gives you college credit. I think that allowed them to show that I could handle college courses. It's also a pretty prestigious film school, even though I didn't end up applying there for a 4-year program for multiple reasons other than just my stats. It's a really hard program, pre-college program to get into anyway, so it's really respectable. I also went to the Galapagos Islands that summer. We did some service there, and I made a documentary video about that. I had been involved with some form of costuming for my school for all 4 years of high school, and then this past year I got to lead the costuming team, and my junior year our costume team was nominated for a Cappy, and I was also nominated for a hair and makeup Cappy as well, which is like a local Greater Philadelphia schools Tony version for high schools. I'd played tennis for 4 years. I went to camp for 8 years. I think it was a lot of the longevity stuff. Like once I joined something, I really stuck to it. Oh, I was also president of the film club my senior year, so that definitely helps as well. My college counselor looked over my Common application, and she looked over my essay, and she told me, Riley, I feel like for your personality, your Common App doesn't fit. And I was like, what do you mean it doesn't fit? Like, I worked so hard on this. It's a good essay. She's like, it's a great essay. It's just not what I think represents you well. And so my Common App essay was it was sort of sad. A college counselor was straight up with me and just told me, hey, it's Debbie Downer stuff, and your application is great and really fun. This is going to bring it down a little bit. So I had to rewrite my Common App essay, and for a while I was stuck and I couldn't figure out a topic. I was like, in my mind I was like, this is the perfect topic. There's nothing else I could really think of. So every once in a while I'd look over the prompts for the Common App essay, and it was just too hard, so I just like pushed it to the side a little bit. Then I had to make my application video. My application video had to be under 5 minutes. They called it a creative supplement. For the month of September, I really focused on that. I got a bunch of film equipment together, and I tried the best I could. I wrote a script. I had my roommate from my UCLA program proofread it, and then I got a group of friends together to help me film this. I had some friends be actors and some help on set. I was gonna use the film that I made at UCLA for my creative supplement, but both me and my college counselor felt that it didn't show enough of me because I was just the editor for that, which is a big role nonetheless, but we both felt like it had to be something that I wrote, directed, really made the look and feel of it. So my application video, I wrote it, I directed it, did all the cinematography for it, and then I edited it. I finished it, showed it to my college counselor. She loved it. And as I was editing it, I ran into some issues with sound. I had a boom mic, and I had the mic that you are listening to now, and there's a cord on it, and my friend who was holding the boom mic didn't realize that it was clinking on the side of it the entire time. So when I was editing it, I had to figure out a way to cut around that because I couldn't do reshoot. I didn't have time to do it. I couldn't get my friends to come all over again for this. I had to find a way to work around it. Then I thought about one of the Common App essay prompts, which is what is something that consumes you so much that you lose track of time. And I wrote about editing and how whenever I edit, I always lose track of time. I love it so much. It's about like problem solving and how it's so satisfying for me because it's like a creative puzzle. So I banged that out and she loved it. She said it was amazing and I didn't have to do any edits to it. Then I had to write my supplementals. Test optional schools are fantastic for students who didn't do amazing with their testing, but still feel like they would be a great fit for that school and feel like I have more to show than my test scores. So Ithaca College and Emerson College were both test optional schools, so I had to write extra supplementals for them. Supplementals are not bad at all. Granted, I only applied to 4 schools. Supplementals aren't bad at all. I had 2 500 word essay ones, but if you pick, the key is picking a topic you're passionate about, because you can bang them out really easily. And there's some really fun supplemental essay topics. Like Emerson gave me if I wrote my life story, what would it be titled? I said it would be a screenplay. I made a pun off of Do the Right Thing, and I made it Do the Right Thing. On October 10th, I applied to SCAD, Penn State University Park, Ithaca College, and Emerson College. And the waiting began. The worst part is waiting. I hate waiting for things. I'm so impatient. And especially when it's about your future, it's definitely anxiety producing. I went on College Confidential a lot. And Naviance and Niche a lot. I definitely started to feel really down about myself. Emerson, the typical accepted applicant, usually had a GPA of 3.6, 3.7, and I was 0.3, 0.4 below that. So I really felt discouraged, and same with Penn State. My test scores were not up to their standard, and they're a big state school, so a lot of what they rely on is their test scores. But I really wanted to change that, so I worked my butt off first semester of senior year. I decided I wasn't gonna let my application be just the 3.3 GPA. I wanted to show that I was better than that. My first semester of senior year, I had a weighted GPA of a 3.9, so I definitely made a difference. Those first mid-semester grades are sent out November 11th. But November 7th was the first school I got into. SCAD is a rolling admission school. So that means I got to hear back as soon as possible. So I got into SCAD on November 7th, and that was the first school I got into, and it was really, really exciting. I knew I was going to college, and I right then knew I did not have to apply to any regular decision schools, which was really nice. SCAD is not difficult to get into. I'm gonna be honest. Their acceptance rate is a 93%. That doesn't mean it's an easy school. It's not necessarily an easy school. They have a pretty high dropout rate because of how hard it is. So December 13th is the day I heard back from Emerson, my number 1 school, and I was deferred. I was heartbroken. I cried. I told myself I wasn't gonna cry, but I totally cried. It was really rough. I immediately felt like I'm not good enough. I had a meeting with the admissions officer there, and they said they loved me and that I was a really good candidate, and I was just like, what went wrong? So my college counselor's the best. I told her, and she gave Emerson a call and asked them, hey, what happened? Like, why was she not accepted early action? She let me know that they had seen my grades from freshman to junior year sort of go steadily down. Not like completely drop, but they had gone down year by year, and that they really wanted to see my academics for the senior year. So they wanted to see my first semester final grades. They were impressed with my grades for that first mid-semester. They just wanted to see if I could continue that, and that wasn't just for show. Shortly after, I got some good news. December 19th, I got into Penn State University Park, which I was sort of surprised by. Then January 8th, I got into Ithaca College. I really like SCAD, but it was a safety for me. Emerson was a reach. Penn State was like a mid-reach. Ithaca was about right. So quarantine hit. Things were going down. But then on March 16th, I got into Emerson, which is awesome because it's the number 10 film school in the country, and B, I didn't have to figure out which school I wanted to go to, either Ithaca or Penn State, even though it was probably going to be Ithaca. I was really excited, and I'm still very excited. Now I'm done. Senior year is coming to a close. In about a week, I'm going to be done with school. Some things I just took away is if you get deferred, doesn't mean you're not getting in. Also, at least for film schools, you just have to show who you really are. You don't have to be the most amazing student in order to get into these schools. You can do anything, really, if you set your mind to it. Like, I didn't realize how true of a sentence that was. I thought a lot of things were fixed in your life. I didn't realize how true of a sentence that was until I went through the college application process. I'm gonna go, because I don't know if you can see it, but it's blizzarding. So, stay tuned. I'm going to be continuing to make college videos, especially once I get to college. So, let me know if there's anything you want me to do. In particular, I'm so excited to show you my college journey. Okay, bye guys. Thank you for watching.